Welcome to the Sahawi Sessions, stories, voices and well-being from the heart of the valleys, and this week from the van. Well, I hope you're all having a lovely week. I am coming from Shrewsbury this week from the Vanlife Festival, and I have a few shout-outs before we even start. First of all, we have heard that Khan Institute in Village Hall are having Saturday the 27th of June, they have a little fundraising type of carnival, Carnival, they're calling it. And it's throughout the village. Certainly the Institute have said they've got refreshments there. They've got their coffee van in the back, coffee frothy. The book nook will be open and there'll be lots of market stores in there. Apparently there will be some kind of parade through there. I've also been asked to give a shout out to Glananant Community Centre. They have philosophy on Fridays. So if you're into philosophy and like a chat about that, they have a bi-monthly philosophical discussion over cheese and wine or a cuppa and cake. And the next one is Friday the 29th of May, 6:30 to 9 p.m. And it's £10 per person. And there is one more. So if you want to start crocheting, it's all the rage now, isn't it? I know knitting became quite fashionable recently with Tom Daly. He's got his own knitting patterns and he's always posting pictures of what he knits, which it's really clever actually. Well, I think so, because I can't knit very well. And crochet's becoming one of the hobbies that lots of people do. People who struggle with concentration, for example, ADHD, and particularly it's good exercise for your hands, although if they are quite arthritic, I think there are swings and roundabouts with that. But certainly myself, in my van here, lots of people around are learning to crochet. And there's a class here in Shrewsbury where they are teaching people this weekend to crochet. I've actually brought mine with me to try. I'm not very good. In fact, I'm rubbish, but hey ho, I'll give it a go. So I've been asked to share this. A beginner's crochet class, June and September starts, and they are running in Caerphilly, 6:30 to 8:30 on a Tuesday evening. And if you're further afield, there are also in June classes beginning in Bridgend and Penarth. And September, they run much further afield again, Newport, Aberdare, Treforest and so on. And that is with fiscreativecreations.co.uk. That's FIS, creativecreations.co.uk. So get in touch if you fancy that. I'm going for a little look around here. What's interesting is they've got a wellbeing area in the festival, and they're running things like yoga classes, Tai Chi, they're even having cuppas and chats. How important is it, though, to have somebody that you can have a cuppa and a chat with? It's not even 10 o'clock here, and I've already had an older chap in my van with me. I say older, not in a bad way, just that he's on his own, and there's not always someone to talk to, particularly your own age. So he came in and had a little chat with me and a cup of tea this morning. And that's absolutely fine, and I like that. If somebody needs to have a chat and they're on their own, it's good that you can reach out. And in this festival, there was a meet last night for people camping on their own to meet up. So some of those people had left partners at home. Some of them had just escaped their family for a weekend. I met one guy in a very similar van to mine, just parked behind me, who said that he's had quite a few weekends with his family and teenagers in that family. And this one is he's got a couple of male friends in other vans there. He was enjoying that. Some people, of course, are single on their own, and they just want to say hello to somebody and know that there's somebody around if they've, I don't know, forgotten tea bags or they can't get their awning up or whatever it is. Not a euphemism. So it's good to know that they've arranged that kind of thing. Likewise, if you do feel yourself that you are struggling with some company, please drop me a message. I'm happy to have a chat with you. Please don't be on your own, is the message. So a few things coming around the van site today. I'll be filming here, there and everywhere and chatting to some people. And we'll be looking at how people manage with nutrition when they're travelling. And this isn't just for people with vans or on the road or such, but people are struggling a lot with nutrition when it comes to paying for good quality food and cooking on a budget. So I thought, what's better than to ask people who actually live in vans how they manage to cook? So coming up, we've got an interview with Mark from Vanlife Eats. I actually filmed that in a different event a couple of weeks ago. He is here. He's very busy this weekend. So we'll have a look at how he manages. So for somebody with limited resources, maybe you're relying on a small gas ring or stove, or you just don't want to put the gas or electric on for too long to cook. It is possible to do things on a budget. So we'll be speaking to him. Again, DMs are open if you need some help and ideas with what to sort of cook to keep you and maybe your family fed. Even at home, it's very expensive these days, isn't it? With meters for everything and so on and so forth. So that's something that I want to look more at in the future. Another shout out for the CIC that I'm starting up. I've got a couple of people interested, a couple of businesses interested, which is great. We're looking at opening a CIC, which is a social enterprise, whereby people pay a minimum of £5 a month. Anyone can join, and you will get for that discounted tickets to events. You will get first notice of any events going on. There will be social gatherings. There'll be a chance to join something called a think tank. And that is a panel of people that decide grant funding. So we'll be open a couple of times a year for funding applications. They will be limited to start with until we get enough funds in. And what that means is that a person 25 or under, or someone on their behalf, can apply for up to £200 funding for something related to their well-being. Now, that could be a day out for the family that perhaps have never seen the sea before or who are struggling. It could be a shop in your local store for something that's healthy. How does it work? Yes, we do want proof of what you've bought, and sometimes we will buy things for you. However, it's very difficult because you don't want to prescribe too much what people spend money on that they are given. You just want to know that it makes a difference. So generally, we will be asking people to show what it is that they're buying from their grant money. They could be accessories for somebody who's neurodiverse. There could be some dance lessons or singing lessons or membership to a choir, something that makes you feel better if you're a younger person and you're struggling with your well-being. So that's something we'll be looking at. Okay, without further ado, I'm just looking around here. I've got emails to do as well. There's lots of vans here, and I'm off for a little explore after I've finished my emails, and I shall speak to you soon. Have a good day. See you later.
Hi everyone, I'm Mark from Vanlife Eats, and if we're talking nutrition, nutrition is a big thing for me in my van. I am actually a qualified nutritionist. That's my professionalism. So that's why I'm always cooking with fresh. And I think when you are traveling, you want to be healthy, you want to be active, you need some energy. So cooking fresh and cooking with local produce as well, I think it's really, really important.
What did I eat at Vanlife Festival? Well, I found a food bank whereby you could give £7.50 and get a canvas bag and just fill it with food for that price, which was donated from Marks and Sparks and the like. You can see these flowers here, they were free. So I got some to go outside and inside the van and gave them £10 for the bag because I had so much. You can see here I'm making some fresh food. I made a curry, sweet potato, chickpea, coconut curry, washed down with some apple juice and some thick flatbreads as well. And then just to finish off, the next day I made a potato frittata, asparagus and mushrooms. Perfectly doable, all for £10.
Thank you to Mark for his insight on nutrition and van life. So as a registered nutritionist, Mark knows what he's talking about. He's also got his preferences with food. He particularly likes Italian food because that's his culture. What kind of food do you like? And how difficult or easy do you think it would be to cook whilst you're in transit? So whether you're on holiday, whether you travel around in your van, whether you live in a van or a caravan, how easy is it to make good food? And how important is it to you? As you could see on the video, I was making food from what I had from the food bank. And I have to say here, the food bank wasn't there to provide people with food who couldn't afford it. And that's not the reason that I had the food from there. They were fundraising for their food bank and had brought some food that had been donated that was end of life, either that day or sometimes the day before, from places like Marks and Sparks and so on, that you could fill your bag with for £7.50. So say I gave them 10 because I felt guilty. I had food there, and they said it's literally just for the festival for people to donate to the food bank. It would have been going out anyway otherwise. So it's to fund an actual food bank. So when I say I got it from the food bank, it sort of was, but it sort of wasn't. But I just wanted to show that you can make lots of really good meals with very little, and very little variety. Just takes a bit of imagination. Would you like some more content about that? And how can I help you? What kind of professionals would you like to listen to that can advise around nutrition, diet, and that kind of thing? Also, do you have someone in the area, in the Sahawi, the Tredegar, the Blackwood, the Newport, Risca, what have you, area that you could recommend that can either help people with cooking, with eating habits, with fitness? If you can recommend someone, please get in touch on our dedicated Sahawi Sessions line on 074 970 79907. That's 074 970 79907. I have to still look up there and check the number. So that was Vanlife Festival. As you can see, I'm back in my little studio now, but I will be on the road again in a couple of days. And bit of news. Very pleased to say the Yellow Rhino van has now got a flag. Yay! With the Yellow Rhino flag on it. So I will be in Brecon, Quick Howell this weekend, but it is a private event. But I will be asking a few people about their well-being, how they manage, people who live in vans, people who have a business around van life. Some really interesting people I'm going to be speaking to. Who do you think I should speak to? And whether that's somebody who is on the road or whether that's somebody who is static in this area or another area, please get in touch and suggest who you'd like me to speak to. And also, again, please send in your recommendations. So anything around well-being, around places to eat, places to walk, events. As I've said, it's festival season at the moment, but it doesn't have to be something like that. Just any event that perhaps might be coming up for the school holidays or on a weekend. If you know of anybody that's running a program, you'd like to give them a shout out, please get in touch. So last time, that number again, 074 970 79907. And I look forward to speaking with you again in the next edition of the Sahawi Sessions. The Sahawi Sessions is part of the Yellow Rhino brand.